Sablan, you're recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, welcome, and thank you very much for your call yesterday. I don't want to blindside you, but after we spoke, I read the news report of the new Medicaid scorecard your department is publishing. I certainly support the idea of measuring performance and letting the public know how government programs are working. But apparently the new scorecard includes the 50 states and the District of Columbia and does not include information about my district and the other non-state areas. So I understand from CMS that the data is submitted voluntarily and some jurisdictions, such as mine, do not have the resources needed to collect the data. So may I ask you, as you develop the scorecard, maybe 2.0A version, could you make sure everyone can participate? Government accountability and transparency is important everywhere in America.
Thank you. I will certainly work with the administrator to see what we can do to ensure that your constituents are included in the next generation of the scorecard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Secretary. And on the second item, I think our absence from the new Medicaid scorecard is a symptom of the real problem for Americans living in the Marianas, and this is something you and I discussed yesterday. So people in the insular areas, referred to as the outlying areas in this committee, are not given the same level of Medicaid assistance as Americans living everywhere else in our country. Federal Medicaid grants are capped, about $6 million per year for the Marianas. That means fewer of my people can be enrolled and their benefits have to be limited. The Affordable Care Act did help us out with additional funds over the $6 million annual cap. And we're using up that ACA money, over $14 million in some years. The problem is the ACA money runs out at the end of 2019. We will go from having upwards of $20 million for Medicaid to just $6 million. We call it the Medicaid Cliff. My question for you, Mr. Secretary, is what are your plans for making sure that people in the Marianas and other non-state areas are given the same access to Medicaid as other Americans? And would you be willing to support lifting the cap, for instance, so we don't fall off the cliff?
So thank you for raising that important issue. And after our phone call, I already actually asked our team to ensure that we work with your office on any legislative proposals to provide technical assistance and help on anything regarding the Northern Marianas Medicaid caps.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Secretary. I hope you would give me someone in your office to work with give me a name that we could get in touch with.
Yeah, so our Assistant Secretary for Legislation, who's here with me, is the individual that we've asked to ensure coordination with your office on preparing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And Madam Chair, thank you. I'll yield back my time.